Hey, so I wrote a program on my phone, and it's actually in the automations in the shortcuts app on iOS. So if you don't have an iPhone, this won't work for you. But this little program that I've written allows you to be able to pre-write 10 different messages, and you can make it as many or as few as you want. But those messages will get sent off to whoever you want based on an occurrence. And I'll show you what I mean. But basically what it does is it randomly, for me, the way I've set it up, it randomly texts my wife sweet things that I've sent to her, like I love you, or I enjoy being your partner, or I like being with you, stuff like that, to help her feel good and get those affirmations that she needs. So I'm going to go ahead and share with you how to write this little program on your own. And you can adapt it however you want to. You can make it so that it is, dependent on an outcome that is different than what I use. And I'll show you that. But you can make it send text to whoever you want or call. You'll probably be excited about the Shortcuts app once you've watched this video, because you'll see the different possibilities that it has. But here we go. So first we want to go into the Shortcuts app, which you may have deleted, but you can go to the App Store and download it again if you want to. It's native to the iOS programming. Now, you'll notice I clicked on the automation button down there at the bottom in the middle. Usually it opens here in shortcuts, so you'll have to click on automations. But then in the top right corner, you hit plus, and it gives you these two options. You can set up a home hub or create a personal automation. Personal automations happen automatically. You can also make them to where it sends you a notification and asks you if you want to run the automation. But setting up the home hub also is cool, because you can get smart devices like smart lights or microwaves or whatever, and if they are not compatible with the Apple HomeKit, you can use the home hub to activate them through Siri. But for now, we're just going to create a personal automation. Now it gives me a bunch of different options of how I can start this automation. You see, there's lots of different options. For example, at a time of day, there at the top, I can set it so that at 8 o'clock every morning, or every weekday, or specific days in the week, it's going to start this program. Or there's location-based functions. So example, when you leave work, you can make it send a text message to your wife saying, I'll be home in 30 minutes. And there's lots of other options, like connecting to the Wi-Fi or when you open a specific app. But we're going to choose the very last one today, charger. And what this is going to do, I'm going to select is disconnected and deselect is connected. And what that's going to do is whenever I unplug my phone from the charger, it's going to start this program. Now, I randomly charge my phone and unplug it, and that's the whole point of this, is to make a random occurrence that's going to start this program and send a text message to my wife. So what that means is every time I unplug my phone, it's going to send a text to my wife, and it's just going to be, a sweet message to my wife. So what we do next is we hit next. And this is where we're actually going to write the code for the program. And when I say write the code, it's much simpler. This is kind of like your simple, Lego programming platform where you're choosing blocks and different things. There are options to write some script, but the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find a random number generator. And so you see here we have the option to click the random number generator. So I click that, and I'm going to put 0 through 11. And what that's going to do is it will produce a number from 1 to 10 that's an integer or a whole number. If I did from 10 to 1, then it would only produce from 9 to 2. It's not inclusive of the numbers that you choose. The next thing we need to do is to set a variable. So I'm just going to type in variable and hit set variable. Now, it's already decided to choose random number as what the variable will be. You can set the variable to be anything, really, but you got to make sure you use that same thing every time. So I'm going to just call this variable y. But if this random number weren't there and I wanted to input that, I would click on that input, select magic variable, and then here at the bottom below the random number generator, it has what's called a magic variable, which refers to what the output of that function is. So I'll click on that, and it puts random number generator, the output of the random number generator, as what my variable y will become. Next, I'm going to find notes, because I want to find the note. So what this is going to do is it's going to search through all of my notes, and it's going to find a note called Sweet Messages. So I have to go into notes, and I have to make a new note called Sweet Messages in order for this to work. But the reason that we're doing this is so that every time that it sends a message, it begins to make a history of the messages that we've sent. And you'll understand that better as we get closer to the end of writing this. Next, I want to start creating some if statements. So I just put an if, click on the if, and what this is going to do is it's going to look at the variable y, and if the y satisfies a condition, and this one I'll say is, then it will do whatever's in that if statement. So this is going to be 1. If y is 1, send a message to Mary, and it automatically populates these sometimes, so you'll have to go in and clear that out by just hitting the backspace button. But I'm going to say, I love you. Done. Now I have to drag that to this spot. And so now what would happen is the random number generator here at the top, it's going to run first. It's going to choose a number. It's going to make y equal to whatever that number is. It's basically just storing that number in the variable y. And then if y is equal to 1, then it sends the message, I love you, to Mary. And that's the end of the program right now. But obviously y is not always going to be 1, so we want to make a bunch more if statements. We want to make an if statement for the numbers 1 through 10. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a bunch of these. So if you click on where it says scripting, right there in the middle of our screen, it gives you the option to duplicate. The only problem with that is that you have to drag it out of the if statement because it drops it in the if statement. So I'm going to go ahead and just keep pulling it out of here because that's a little faster. And you can do this in whatever order you want, as long as you get everything dragged into the right spot. But let's see, do I have 10 of these? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2 more if statements. And I know this might take a while to write out, but if you're doing it for someone that you love, it's worth it. So again, I have to hit clear, and then I'll click on the input, and I'll click on Y, and then I'll click on condition is, and click on number, put in 2, click done. All right, I'm going to go through now and do that for all of these. Clear, input Y, condition is number 3, done. If clear, input Y, condition is number 4, done. If clear, input Y, condition is number 5, done. Okay. Clear. You get pretty good at doing this the more you do it. Oh, nope, I already put in 7. 8 is next. Feel free to fast forward if you're still following this. Okay, so now we've got 10 if statements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And each one of those is going to represent a different outcome from our random number generator. Now, I want to send a message to Mary in each one of those. So, I'm going to make 10 messages. Let's see, that's 3. Already got one that's 4, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And here on the last one, I'll just show you to make sure you know. You can make it call somebody or FaceTime somebody. And you can play around and look at what different things there are. But if you don't see the person that is in there, you can just click on the plus contact button and find the person that you want to use as the contact for your send message. Also, if you do not see the send message shortcut right here in the suggestions, you can just type in message and then tap on send message, and then you can click on recipient to Mary, and there you go. Now I'm going to go through and change all of these to different messages. And I would suggest you don't copy these. Take time to write some messages from your heart. If you write them out yourselves, then whoever it is that is receiving these from you is likelier to believe that they're genuine. Again, as I go through these, you may want to fast forward. I'm going to be at this for just a second. Now that I've finished writing all of these, I'm going to go ahead and drag them into the different numbers. So I'll just pull it up to the top and it'll begin to scroll. So I'm looking for 2. Here's 2. So if Y is 2, send that message to Mary. And I'll take this up to 3. 3. Okay. Again, if you want to go ahead and fast forward a little bit now, you are welcome to do that. 4. Because I'm just going to be dragging these messages into each of the 10 different if statements. Oh, that's past 4. Okay. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. And 10. Okay, so if you wanted to just leave it here, that would be enough. This will do everything that you want to. But referring back to this notes thing that I put in here, right here in the middle of the screen, this is set up to create a history of the notes that you've sent. So we need to do one more step to be able to fill out that history. So we're going to go to append a note. Append to note. So append means to add, and I'm going to add 1. I love you. That's the message that is tied to number 1. So now I'm going to drag that all the way up. And I'm going to put it just below the message. Now what's going to happen, if the random number ends up being 1, the variable y will be set to 1. This note is going to find the note that says sweet messages, and then it's going to enter into the if statement, that's 1, and it's going to send the I love you to Mary. Then it will append I love you to, and we haven't set a note yet. So we'll choose a magic variable and scroll up to this note that's been found, and we'll choose that magic variable. And now that note that it's found, which I've named sweet messages, it's going to go to notes, and it's going to create a list every time that I send a message like a history. I'll show you really quick because I've had this app running for a little while. You can see what mine looks like. It keeps adding. It says 9, I love you, I love being married to you. This is actually from a program that I wrote before this, so it's not the same messages as the one that I just wrote, but you can see now I have a history. And if I realized, okay, 7 has been sent 3 times in a row, I can tell myself, okay, I know I need to go and change the message 7 because I don't want that person to feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over. Or maybe I need to disable it, or figure out some way to make the messages seem more genuine. So it's nice to be able to go back and look at this. Now, going back to the shortcut, I need to do this for all of the notes. So I'm going to go down to the bottom, and I'm going to add an append note to each one of the if statements. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And in this case, I could have just tapped on the top left of the little box and hit duplicate. That probably would have been faster. But in fact, I'm actually going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to get rid of all of these, and you'll see why in just a second. I'm just hitting the little X in the top right corner of these boxes. So I'm going to add the magic variable. And that way, when I duplicate this, I'm not going to have to add that magic variable every time. See how it's already got that on there. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so because I've already done one, that makes 10. So I'm going to go and change the... actually, I'm going to go ahead and drag these into their individual if statements first. Oop. Okay, that's 2. Again, I know this takes kind of a while to do, but if you're doing it for somebody that you love, it's worth it. And if you want to go ahead and fast forward a little bit, this would probably be a good time. But if you just want to watch the process, you're clearly welcome to do that. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to need to go in and line up the notes with what message is sent. So for example, for 2, I'll put in 2 dash you're wonderful. Done. 3 I really like your eyes. Done. For, just to be clear, you hit the top left keyboard looking button here, and then hit backspace to get rid of that weird if result autofill. Then you can type your text. You are a fantastic partner. Okay. 6. You are the best partner. Done. 7. Oh wait. That was 5. 6. I'm so glad I married you. 7. 7 You are a great mom. 10. 8. Thanks for choosing me. Oh, it's gonna be 8. Okay. Now I gotta hit done. I sure enjoy spending time with you. And that's 9. Done. And then 10. 10 dash. Oops. You just mean so much to me. I hope you know that. Okay. And really, that is pretty much all there is to it. I'll go back through and just double check that each one of these lines up. We've got 1, all those say 1, they're both I love you. 2, you're wonderful. 3, I really like your eyes. 4, you are a fantastic partner. Okay. Looks like everything is good. So now that I'm done with this, I'll actually hit next. And this is actually pretty important. Here at the bottom it says ask before running. You actually want to turn that off. What that's going to do is it's going to run it without you having to confirm that you want to do it. If you don't mark that when you run the program, you'll actually have to confirm by clicking somewhere on the screen in a notification that you want to go ahead and send that message, which you may want to do. But for me, I just wanted to do it without me having to mess with the phone. So I'll hit done. And now let's go ahead and test it. I gotta turn my car on so I get power to the plug. Okay. So I plug in my phone. Now I'll unplug it, and you see that running my automation. I've actually got a couple going because I've written this program a couple times to be able to make this video. But now we'll go to that note. You see it's added the "I sure enjoy spending time with you," and in my messages to Mary it says, "I sure enjoy spending time with you." And you get a little bit of a taste of our kinds of conversations. I hope you enjoy that gift. She'll be a little bit embarrassed if she knows that you all saw that, but there you go. And if you want to keep this enabled or disable it at some point, go back into the automations, find your automation that you've done. You can turn off or turn on that automation. So that should be it. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me or write a comment in the YouTube video, and I will do my best to reply to comments in the YouTube video. Or you can find me on Facebook. My name is Hayden Lorenzo Jacobson, and that's it.